so excited to be sitting down and telling you guys the story today, because first, I have not sat down for a little bit to tell you a story, and second, this was just a story that I think changed my outlook on just life. So it's really important to me, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you haven't seen episode 1 and 2, you can catch up through the link down in my description, or just go on my channel Becoming 29 and catch up. So today's story was huge. It was really controversial, I think, in my family. A lot of people felt like maybe I made the wrong decision, you know what I mean? Because they were kind of like thinking of themselves, maybe like if they were in my shoes. But I, till this day, feel like I made the best decision for myself. So I'm kind of gonna pick up from where I left off in episode 2. Right after my little stage, I reevaluated everything. With reevaluating everything, I reevaluated the kind of partner that I want. So I was like, I sat down, I was like, okay, so clearly in your little stage, you weren't treated that great by a significant other. So I sat down and I was like, listen, this is what I want, right? In a guy. Guys, the most important thing literally in that list for me was money. I wanted somebody who was loaded, you know what I mean? I sat down and I was like, okay, he must be like moneyed. And bear in mind, this was also the time, around the time, it was in my final year, it was around the time that 50 Shades of Grey, the film, just dropped. So like I had just seen Christian Grey, so I was like, okay, my next boyfriend now must be Christian, you know what I mean? So I wanted somebody who was very successful, moneyed. I wanted Charlie Tango, I wanted the works, you know what I mean? I wanted Christian Grey without like all the kinky stuff. So, but I also made it very clear that I had to be in that place too in my life, like be financially stable and really successful before trying to find that guy. And I vowed to myself, I was just like, you know what, I'm not gonna get into any relationships until I find this guy. And I focused on school. I didn't really get into any relationships after my little stage. I think I was just like vibing with a lot of people, but I didn't get into a solid relationship. To my surprise, you guys, that list kind of came together in real life within like 2 months of me like sitting down and writing that list. So around the time of my mom's unveiling, and it was my final year 2017, so it was around the time also of like the matric dance. So I remember I was talking to my dad just about like what I want. I was so excited. I was just like, I want this kind of dress, you know what I mean? I want these kind of shoes, you know what I mean? I want this kind of car. We were just talking about all the details, and I remember coming back home on the weekend of my unveiling, and I was just talking to my dad and asking him how his day was. And I remember he was like, remember the car that you said you wanted for your matric dance? Well, it was here earlier in the day, and it was a G-Class. I don't remember what, like, I think it was the latest model. Bear in mind, that was 2017. So he was like, the car was here, and I was like, who the hell was driving it? And you gotta be joking me. Like, are you kidding? I had never seen this car in real life. It was always just kind of pictures for me, like my wallpaper and like stuff like that. So when he told me, I was like, oh, what? Who is this person driving this car? And he was like, yeah, it's one of his friends, and he said he was gonna come over on the day of the unveiling. So I was like, whoa, that is wild to me. And he also mentioned that the guy was like totally cool with like driving me to my matric dance. So I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. I cannot wait for the unveiling. So the day of the unveiling came, and to be honest, this is so bad, but I was not even excited for like the unveiling. I was excited just to see the car later in the day. This was my dream car. This is what I had set out for myself, that like, okay, this is what I want. When I've made it in life, this is the kind of car that I'm going to drive. So the fact that I was going to see it in real life, which has never happened, was wild to me. So the day went by, unveiling went by, and he didn't show up, and I was like, ah, this guy, what the hell? So I was so disappointed. But later in the night, I heard this familiar roar of the engine, and I remember I didn't run outside. I didn't run. I just I walked really fast outside, and I remember seeing the car, all black, just drive by so slowly right past my house, and I was like, wow, that is beautiful. And I remember I went outside with my friends, and then I ditched them. I was just like, God, I'll be right back. And I went over to the car, and to my surprise, it was actually somebody that I knew. My dad didn't tell me who this guy was, but it was somebody that I knew. It was like a business partner of my dad's, and like somebody who turned into a friend, and I had been like to his house a couple of times as a kid. So I went over to the car, and I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. I just said hi. I was just like, can I just see the inside of this car, and then like I'll be out of your hair. And he was like, sure. He opened the door for me, and it was beautiful, so luxe, so just really like expensive, just like it was just everything. And I remember he was just like, do you want to take it for a spin? And I was like, but I can't drive. And he was like, no, he'll totally drive. Obviously, I don't even think he was gonna let me drive his car. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, I wasn't even thinking straight. I was just like, yeah, totally, let's go. We drove to a local spa. We went to like Tops, and he got a couple of drinks, and then like it hit me when we were at spa. I was like, oh man, I left my phone. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. There's like two guys in the back. I don't know like who they are. This guy I haven't seen in like years, you know what I mean? And I just jumped into the car with him. He's moneyed. I don't even know if like he does human trafficking and like all that stuff. So I was like starting to freak out, and I was like, okay, yeah, this has been fun, but I think you need to take me home now. And I remember on our drive back, he was just like, yeah, your dad told me about your matric dance, and that you really like this car, and you would love for me to take you or to have the car for the day. And I was like, yeah, totally. So we exchanged numbers on that day, because he was like, yeah, I'm totally game to take you. You can totally have the car. I can even pick you up from school. I was like, whoa, that was not like one of my requests, but I mean, I don't mind. So you guys, he was a little older than me. He was my dad's friend, not a little, he was a lot older than me. I was 17, he was not 20. Not in his 20s. So he took me back home, and I just went on there. I apologized to my friends. I was like, guys, I'm so sorry. I just like the car. I just needed to see the car. I'm so sorry. They were freaking out. So I remember the unveiling just went on, like it was just a regular night. And then he called me later in the night, and he was just like, I'm just checking if your number's working. And I was like, duh. I'm the one who needs the service here. I'm the one who needs this car for my matric dance. And he was like, yeah, totally cool. And then he told me at the end of the call that he would stop by the next day to talk to my dad about business. And I was like, okay, why are you telling me this? But I was just like, okay, we hung up. And then the next day, he arrived, and I remember I was outside when he arrived. He came in the G-Class, and I saw it in daylight, and it was even like, it was just I don't even, you know what, Mercedes. You guys are everything. So it was so beautiful. I remember he parked the car, he came in, he like gave me like one quick look, and then he went on to like go talk to my dad. And then when he was about to leave, he got in the car, and then he called me before he even drove away. He was in the car. Guys, my dad was like sitting right there. This is so bad. He called me, and he was like, you look so good. And I'm like, I know. No, you guys, I really did look so good. I felt so cute on that day. I was wearing a little black dress with thigh-high boots, and yeah, he was like, you look so good. And I was like, oh, thanks. And he communicated that he would really like to talk to me a little more, and he'd like to come back a little later in the day to come and see me. And I was like, whoa, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? So we hung up the call. We started talking on WhatsApp kind of after that day, and he just like kept saying like, I really want to see you. I really want to see you. I really want to see you. And started coming to the house like more often, and like, I really want to see you. And I was just like, oh, whatever, fine. I just want to see my car. And he came over, and he didn't even come in the G-Class this time. It was a V something. But he came in a V-Class Mercedes again. Those, bear in mind, you guys, I'm obsessed with Mercedes G-Class, A-Class, and the V-Class. So for him to show up in like my favorite car first time we saw each other, I was like, whoa. And then second time when he comes to see me, he's in like the other dream car. It's like, what the what? So I remember I went over there, I was like mesmerizing and I was car struck by that car. It was so beautiful. And I remember he let me drive and he communicated that like he'd like to take me to his place just to show me his place. And we hung out like on a regular after that day. He showed me his place. So beautiful, so luxe, exactly what I like imagined myself to be living in, you know what I mean, the kind of like house that I wanted for myself. So it was all like, it was a lot. It was literally like somebody giving you your life, like everything you've ever imagined, like right in front of you. It was crazy. As time went by, I kind of softened up to him, and he communicated that like he wanted to like maybe get into a relationship, and he was like, yeah, he totally wants to marry me, you know what I mean? And I was like, but my dad, and he was like, no, we'll talk to him. And I was like, no. And you guys, I will not sit here and like lie or like deny the fact that I fully considered it. Bear in mind, this was exactly what I had put down on paper and had been praying, or like this was a prayer that I said to God that, listen, this is the kind of guy that I want. I was just like, this is God answering my prayers. It's a little early, but I mean, it's God answering my prayers. So I will not lie and say that I did not consider getting into a relationship with him, because some of the positives, you guys, were that I was gonna have the life that I've always dreamed of, and I didn't even have to lift a finger, to be honest. And also, plot twist, around like a couple of weeks after we were like getting to know each other, my dad actually passed away. So now life is about to change. My last parent is gone. So I don't even know what kind of financial situation I'm going to be going into. I'm about to matriculate, so no more allowance. Now I'm going into the real world. So this was like, it was like really tempting, you know what I mean, to have everything that I've ever wanted and never worry about like financial situation ever, like ever. But the negatives were that he was much older, you guys. My family, when they found out, stay tuned, I will tell you the story next time. But my family, when they found out about this guy, they were like, no, you can't do this. That is wild. He's much older. And the lady was fuming. She was like, Thando, you cannot do this. He's older, it's just not right for you. And also another negative was that he was very dominant, and he seemed like somebody who always gets what he wants, and he was very flashy with his money. And just in regular conversations, like getting to know each other kind of conversations, he would like, we'd talk about, I'd tell him like, oh, I really love the gym, you know, I really love working out. And he'd be like, yeah, I can totally like build you a gym in the house. And I'm like, okay, but I thought I was gonna leave. But anyway, and I was just like, yeah, these are the kind of places that I really want to go to, and like these are the kind of stores that I like, and I love shopping and I love clothes. And he was like, you never have to shop, just stay at home, someone will do it for you. And then it's just like, whoa, are you kind of like trying to keep me in this box? So that was such a huge negative for me also. But I think, you guys, I definitely considered it, but I think the day where I was like, I cannot even consider this ever, like the final straw for me, final negative, was on the day of my dad's funeral. After the funeral, literally after we put him in the ground, we all drove back and he was here. And I remember a bunch of my friends from school came, so I was really excited. And later in the day, my friends were about to leave, so I walked them out. It was up, my squad in high school had a couple of guys in it, so I walked them out. While I was walking them out, I passed his car, and then I remember I walked them. When I came back, he was like, come here, like in this other tone, like my dad. I was like, whoa, what did I do? And I went over to him and he was like, are you trying to make me jealous? Like, are you trying to like just like make me jealous with these like young boys, you know what I mean? Like, what do you take me for, you know what I mean? It was a side of him that I never ever seen, or like thought like I'd ever see, like ever, you know what I mean? And I remember he pushed me against the wall. I was trying to like get out of the way. I was just like, oh, you are tripping, dude, relax. And he pushed me against the wall, and he was like, I don't even remember really what he said, but he said something, and I was just like, leave me alone. I think that was enough for me. That was the cue for me. That was enough for me to be like, to like my papa and just be like, no, this is not this is not what I want. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what the financial situation is going to look like when I get back into that house. I don't care if this is what me talking to my friends is gonna like. I don't care. I'm not interested. And after that day, I didn't really talk to him. I think a lot of my family when they found out about our relationship, or like it wasn't a relationship, I was never in a relationship with him, but our entanglement, like us talking, a lot of them at first were like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? A lot of family friends were like, why would you do that? He's older, why would you do that? But I think as time went by, I literally overheard one of my uncles saying that, like, ilobola is what I mean, you know what I mean? Like, melam lobol, melam shadi. You know what I mean? And a lot of people started like changing and being like, yeah, like, you're doing the right thing, because I guess they saw the money. I think after the day that I snapped out of it, after my dad's funeral, I realized that I would not be very independent if I was with this guy. And everything that I wanted would literally just come to me, and I wouldn't even have to lift a finger. And you know, that's great for a little bit. I think everybody sometimes wishes they could just like snap their fingers and things would come, and I think that's a lot of fun in the beginning, but can I do that for the rest of my life? You know what I mean? I think I'm very independent. I would love to be very independent financially also, and I bet I'm going to be in the future. And also, I think I love the feeling of knowing that I've worked for this. You know what I mean? When the day comes where I go to Mercedes and I buy my G-Class, and I pay for it myself with the money that I worked for, I want to have that feeling of, wow, I worked for this and I finally did it. And I think I would enjoy that more over, literally he was like, he's gonna give me the G-Class. So I was just like, whoa. So I think if I was going to be with him, a lot of my independence, I wouldn't have a lot of that. And also I just wouldn't be happy, you know what I mean? Because he was like a good person, but I did not like a lot of things about him. I felt like God was literally giving me what I wanted and being like, is this really what you want, my darling? Because now you have it. Is this really what you want? And I feel like he redirected my prayers. So yeah, you guys, that was a very snug time in my life where I had to choose my peace, my independence, my happiness over finances. And I think even till this day, a lot of people feel like you could be living a better life, and I feel like I could, but I'm a very happy girl. I think I fully realized that my life would be completely different if I was like, yeah, let's do this, you know what I mean? I think I would be in school, I'd be able to pay for my own school, I'd be able to pay for my own equipment for my channel, I'd be able to keep my channel afloat, because sometimes I literally feel like it's drowning because of finances. But you know what, I'm very happy, I'm at peace, I love my life. I think two things that that whole experience really taught me was that there are way more important things that I should be looking for in a significant other, and that I look for now. It really helped me kind of refocus on what's really important in a person, and also it just kind of just showed me that money isn't everything, and it kind of gave me the mindset that I have now, which is peace over everything and happiness over everything. And if I can be happy, then I really don't care for money, to be honest. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, give it a like, and if you want to see more of me, you can totally follow me at Noluthando 29 on Instagram, and subscribe so I can see you in my next story time or my vlog. I love you for watching, and I'll see you again so soon. Bye.